Now just hear me out here for a minute, guys. And just imagine that you're Petr Yan. You're Petr Yan. Now at one point in time, you are the champ, the baddest man in the division. People are talking about you on the pound for pound list. Everybody is incredibly impressed with what you're bringing to the table. Went on this run, beating Jimmy Rivera, Uriah Faber, Jose Aldo. Go out there, snatch up the belt. Prime. Perfect age to be going out there and doing great work. Get a fight with Aljamain Sterling. Come in as a big favorite. I don't remember exactly what he was. 4-1, 5-1 favorite. Goes out there, putting it on Aljo just like so many of us expected him to do. Everything is going according to plan. And then this dude goes out and pulls a bonehead move, dude. I don't know how else to say it. Like, you go back and you look, and it was egregious. It was like, how do you hit that man when he is on the mat? How do you catch him like that when he is on the mat? As though, I mean, he's looking at his corner and everything. Like, I did not. Anyways, it happened. Right? Now, there's a lot of people who thought that Aljo was putting on the performance, right? Well, everybody wants to give him an Oscar, talking about how he's being all dramatic, talking about how he wasn't hurt that much. I don't know. Think about it this way. Think about it from the other perspective. Number one, let's not forget the beating that he was taking up until that point. I'm quite sure that he wasn't 100% when he caught that illegal blow. Yan was already putting it on him. But then he catches the illegal blow. Now, number one, does he have the right to just say, I can't fight anymore? That's it. I'm done. The illegal blow took me out. Of course he does. What if he really did? What if it really compromised him? Doesn't he have that right to say that? Because you're sitting there, you're in a title fight. If he's compromised after that blow, says, forget it, I can still fight, goes back out there, continues to fight and loses, dude, people are going to forget about that. The UFC is going to, about that illegal shot. People are going to forget about it. The UFC is going to forget about it. What they're going to remember is the fact that you had your title shot and you lost badly. It's probably going to be like 2 years before he gets another one, right? Division's loaded, a lot of talent. Why are we giving it to Aljo when he just got smoked? Particularly if Yan's still the champ. The best bet you would have is the hope that he would lose the belt, because you'll probably have a better shot at getting another fight against a new guy. Nevertheless, you understand where I'm coming from. If he goes in there and he's compromised, he's risking a lot. Now, if he's not compromised, should he fake it? No, and I'm not necessarily saying that he did. I don't know whether he faked it or not. Doesn't really matter. I know that he had the right to do that, and if he was compromised, logically, he should do that. Even I get it, man, the warrior spirit and everything, the ego that gets involved, the way guys, nobody wants to say that they quit, nobody wants to say that they gave up. I also thought it was hilarious how after the fight, we see he's posing with the belt and everything, he's taking pictures, and Yan sends out that, it was like a tweet or it was on Instagram or something, he's like, glad to see the champ's doing good, so he ends up coming up with the victory. So now, Yan goes out and beats Corey Sandhagen. Okay. And then exactly what should happen is what did happen. We saw the rematch. We got exactly what we were supposed to. Look, Yan was a beast. What happened there was, it was a fight that he was winning, and although it was an egregious blow, although he deserved to lose the belt should the fight not continue, which is exactly what happened, I thought that it was also right for him to get the rematch. Once again, Yan's a favorite. We expect that he's going to kind of pick up where he left off, continue to do good work. But what we saw was a little different. What we saw was opportunity for Aljo to get his grappling going. Right? We always knew that Aljo was a better wrestler. We always knew that grappling is where Aljo that's where he shines. We just didn't know if he was going to have that opportunity. We didn't know if he was going to have the ability to go out there and execute a game plan like that. And we knew that, 80% of fights go to the ground, 100% of fights start on your feet, and Yan is a beast on the feet. So we saw that, and we saw that play out exactly that way. When the fight was on the feet, Yan was winning, and when the fight went to the ground, Aljo was winning. Just so happened to go to the ground more than staying on the feet. Aljo comes out with the victory. Now, I just want to know, one of the things that I thought was really interesting during that fight was when we saw him getting taken down, he'd go back to the corner, and his corner was telling him, all you got to do is stay on your feet. And then they gave him this one piece of info. They said, don't let him lock his hands. No matter what happens, if this dude is not able to lock his hands, he's not going to be able to take you down. So all you need to focus on is making sure that he can't get his hands clasped. And they were 100% right. When he did not, right, Petr Yan was going 2-on-1. He was putting two hands on Aljo's one hand, doing everything he could to try to keep those hands separate. And when he did keep them apart, he stayed on his feet. When Aljo got those hands clasped, he took him for a ride. And then we see this last fight. He comes into this last fight with Sugar Sean O'Malley. And look, I'm going to be the first to admit, when I saw this fight get announced, I didn't even think it was legit. I did not even, literally, I did not think it was real. I saw it on Instagram and I thought it was a joke, right? It was easy to think that. Everybody's been criticizing Sugar Sean O'Malley for his level of competition. Nobody says he doesn't know how to strike. Nobody says he doesn't know how to fight. Everybody understands that. People say you're showing that you know how to fight, or you're showing that you know how to strike against a subpar level of competition. Everybody other than Chito Vera, right? But that's the fight that he lost. So everybody's criticizing his level of competition. I did not expect for this man to go from a level of competition that everybody criticized to a fight with the number one ranked guy in the world. That's a pretty big step up. And you got to figure Yan is just going to be chomping at the bit, man. He's coming off of this loss from Aljo. He knows that he needs to get back in the win column. He probably feels like the loss was illegitimate, bad decision, felt like he should have got the victory anyway. Super close fight. Goes back, kicks himself for that illegal blow in the first one because he's like, I never should have been in this position in the first place if I wouldn't have go ahead and done that. But now he's here. Now he's here and he's got to fight this young, super brash kid who runs around, says all kinds of crazy stuff, and it's a 3-round fight. Not exactly the position you want to be in. But at the same time, I know Yan was incredibly confident, right? That's just the type of dude that he is. But he goes out there and he doesn't come out with the victory. Now, look, that was a close fight, man. Personally, I didn't give all 3 rounds to Yan. I gave him 2. I think he should have won the fight. I think it was a bogus decision. But let's be honest with each other. O'Malley got some good work done, dude. Sugar Sean was in there. He outstruck him. Yan got some good work done. He landed some really good blows, but it was also the takedowns, right? You take those takedowns out of the equation, he doesn't win that fight. That was a key part of it. He was able to get that ground control in, right? He was able to get those takedowns. He was able to score those points. I feel he should have came away with it. Nevertheless, it's a loss. This dude lost 3 of his last 4 fights. 2 to Aljo, 1 to Sugar Shane O'Malley. Think about that. He goes from this incredible run, being super feared. He's holding the belt. He's getting the pay-per-view points. Winning a fight. Loses it to an egregious decision. I think he lost that second fight to Aljo, but let's just say it was really close. Ends up dropping this rematch to Aljo. So now the belt side of the equation until you get some more fights in. Goes in there against Sugar Sean O'Malley, a guy who was he ranked number 10? Was he even ranked at all? I don't know. But he goes in there and gets that fight and gets a bogus decision and drops it again. And now, today, we see the announcement that he's considering leaving the UFC. Let me just say, I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's mad. I think he's emotional. I 100% get it. I'd feel the same way if I was in his shoes. Like, dude, you're going out there, you're doing everything you can. And for whatever reason, whether the other guy just happens to be better on that night or you're talking about a bogus decision from the judges, but one way, shape, or form, things are just not developing the way that you want them to. Your career is not going the way that you want. 29 years old at this point, you pictured yourself riding high up on the top of the mountain, man, just dominating, getting the belt, defending time and time and time again. Who knows, potentially moving up in weight to become the champ, whatever the case may be. Things ain't turning out that way. Doesn't make him any less of a fighter, incredibly skilled, but things aren't going the way that he wants right now. So he comes out, like I said, a little bit upset, a little bit emotional coming off after the fight and that loss. He's like, these judges want to give me these bogus decisions, man. I'm going to leave the UFC. They don't have my back. They don't have my best interest at heart. I'm out of here. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think he's going to get paid anywhere else what he gets paid by the UFC. Now, look, I understand that the UFC consistently gets criticized for what they pay their fighters, but that's not what you hear coming from champions and former champions. You do not hear champions and former champions saying that they are not being compensated adequately by the UFC. You hear that from everybody else. You don't hear from the guy with the belt. You don't hear from a guy who used to hold the belt. That's who Petr Yan is. He's a guy who used to hold the belt. Pretty sure he's getting taken care of. I also think he's got some popularity. And it's definitely guys who are more popular and move the needle that get paid more. So he's not going to get paid more somewhere else than he's getting paid in the UFC. And let's also not underestimate the fact that I'm pretty sure deep in his heart that man is a true competitor. A true competitor. And what I mean by that is I think he feels as though he's got unfinished business in the UFC. With the way all of this went down, the way kind of the cookie crumbled and the way things lay right now, if he were to just walk away, maybe have one more fight that was kind of insignificant and then leave, Man, he'd be sitting at his house at night thinking like, what did I do, man? I've still got work to do there. There's still people to beat. There's still fights to be fought. That's how I think he would look at it. So when everything's said and done, when he actually sits down, he starts to negotiate with the UFC, he starts to talk about things, I don't think that we're going to see Yan walk away. I don't think we're going to see him leave. I think he's only 29 years old and we are going to continue to see him fight in the near future in the UFC. I think he just kind of hit a stumbling point in his career, man. And let's be honest with each other. He should have won this last one. So even though when we look at it, it's one that's in the loss column. We're looking at it on Wikipedia. It's a box that's in red. Not real good. I get all those things. Stumbling point, tough spot in the career. I get that. But let's not forget who he is. Let's not forget that we understand that this man knows how to fight at an incredibly high level. That's not going anywhere. He's going to come back with some fire in him. I don't know who he's going to fight next. Maybe TJ Dillashaw or something. I don't know. But I don't know who he's going to fight next, man. But his opponent is going to have their hands full. So let me know what you guys think. Do you feel like he's, like where I'm coming from, that this is just kind of a tough spot in his career, but he's so incredibly skilled and he's going to be able to figure out a way to turn it around. He's going to continue to win and win in the UFC? Or do you think there's really a chance that he's going to walk away? Do you think that maybe guys figured him out? I mean, look, this fight with O'Malley was always going to be tough. Sugar Sean knows how to strike at a very high level. He is tall. He is long. He understands how to control the gap, keep guys at the end of his punches, knows how to crack, good timing. Jan's a small guy, man, or at least a lot smaller than him. So that's going to be a tough one. Nevertheless, I thought he figured out a way to come out with the victory. So is he going to keep winning in the UFC? Is he going to use this as an opportunity to walk away? Have guys figured him out? Is he not as good as we thought they were? Did his time as the very best already pass him, and he's just going to be one of the guys now, maybe top 5? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think.